KFAN.
Shall we begin?
Football Feast. Hashtag Faith Radio.
Let's go. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Good morning.
Hold on to your butts.
I'm a kid, so I call it KFAN.
Football.
Thinking of those days go by now. Some music in the air.
Alrighty now. Welcome. It's Friday. It's 9 to noon at KFAN. Pretty good time yesterday to dust off the old box in the box trick.
Connor cruising along, cross-ice speed, rebound, they score. And Taves got cross-checked down afterwards, but Jonathan Taves has a goal in 4 straight games. As Volstead far off the first shot, but the rebound came right to Taves.
I mean, we had an awesome time catching up with some long-lost friends.
Volstead comes out, flicks it to Hughes, who slams it off the boards to Mello, waiting for it, a long drive, rebound! Great save by Volstead, and a third try they score. It's Tanner Pearson, and it is 2-0 winner.
Then there was the game. There was Vox in the box, and then there was the game. And for the border rivals, winning was as easy as goals 1, 2, and 3.
Jones and Taves on the draw to the right of Volstead. The final 4.7 of the period. Taves wins it. Morrissey, a shot, he scores. It's 3-0. As Taves won the draw, they got it to Morrissey, and he absolutely roofed it.
6-2 final. Jets soar. The boys have lost 3 in a row, so now it's off to Buffalo to try to snap that skein. And the Sabres should be a pretty easy beat. They've only won 15 of their last 17. Welcome to the Friday Football Feast at FM 100.3 KFAN. It's me, Alec Nordo, and we are here to make some plays. The first play to be made will be a former Minnesota Viking and New England Patriots tight end, Jermaine Wiggins. He generally joins this time of the year when the New England Patriots are good, and the New England Patriots are quite good this year. It's the Patriots and the Houston Texans from Foxborough, Massachusetts this weekend. That is the third of 4 playoff games. Looks to be quite the interesting weekend. What intrigues you about this weekend, Alec Lewis, and good morning.
Good morning. All of the games intrigue me. I will say, listen to those highlights. I watched the first 10 minutes of that hockey match last night. And it was 10 shots on goal for the Wild
to 0. Yes.
And then the 5-on-3 at that point, I mean, it was just quite frustrating, I've got to say, to observe. But I'm looking forward to all of the football games this weekend.
Yep.
I was asked by someone yesterday, which team would you pick if you had to win a Survivor? And it is a troubling question to try to answer for this weekend.
Or the NHL. Well, because you might.
I mean, I picked the Colorado Avalanche if I'm picking Survivor in the NHL.
Okay, then what about the next day?
Buffalo Sabres.
And then what about the next day?
Wild. They'll get it right back.
Hey, the good news for you is you have an opportunity this evening to watch Bones Highland.
I mean, Bones Highland. Bones Highland, sometimes you watch him and you're like, this guy, if he was on the Wizards, would have average 20 a game.
That's what they said about C.J. McCollum, and they ended up trading him.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to watching. I hope Baron J plays. I've got a buddy calling him the young baguette. I mean, I'm all in on that.
Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, was at the Wild game last night.
Let's play hockey!
He didn't do the let's play hockey bit, but there was, I've been to a lot of Wild games over a lot of years. It was and tell me if you've ever experienced this, because you've attended a lot of games, NFL, baseball, college sports, stuff like that. The, I can't remember my man's name, John Cosmaker, maybe? The one who sings the Star Spangled Banner.
I think it's DeCosmaker.
DeCosmaker, thank you. John DeCosmaker.
It's a good name.
When he went into the Francis Scott Key's Star Spangled Banner, he started it off and then had the crowd sing the rest of it. It was fantastic. I've never experienced anything like that.
I thought Nordo would have a thought on that. I haven't seen that. My favorite anthem of all anthem subsets is the saxophone anthem, but getting everyone involved within it, that's pretty good. I didn't know. Did you go with Kevin? How'd you know he was there?
No, I saw it on Twitter this morning.
Oh, okay.
We having phone problems or something?
Just straight voicemail, homie.
Oh, straight voicemail for Jermaine Wiggins?
Sent a text, and we shall see.
All righty. What's compelling about the playoff games to you this weekend, Mr. Nordquist?
Well, just if the Bears can continue what feels like, it's Cinderella-like, would be disrespectful to what the Bears are able to do, specifically in late stages of games. It's become so consistent. But as we were talking about Vox in the Box yesterday, the Rams in managing the weather with old people under center, those sorts of things. But I look at the defense, and it's crazy because the last month and a half has not been elite tape for the Verses and the Kobe Turners and such of the world defensively for the Rams. But their ability to go on the road and solve that problem, that is Caleb Williams, specifically late stages of games. I love that. And, the first one that we're actually going to talk about after our next guest, Chad Greenway, hops in studio with us, that division collision. I spent some time trying to figure it out here. This is the sixth time, in the last quarter century that a division rival in particular will play their season finale and then will be matched up in their first postseason game against said team. And let's just say whoever wins the first one, well, there's a lot of sweeps in the mix.
Really?
Brooms out for those that handle business in the season finale. They generally find their way to the winner's circle in the next one. And the ability with the bye week and what they were doing on the ground against Salah's Niners 2 weeks ago, for them to replicate that, really, I don't want to say it's impossible. Shanahan, that well-coached, oiled operation, if they can do anything like they did 2 weeks ago, the one seed's moving on in a wash.
The if and or when we find Jermaine Wiggins, and we have multiple texts out to him. He just got done with his WEEI radio show, and I know he has a plane to catch. If we get him, great. If we don't, that's fine too. But in researching Houston and the New England Patriots, the Pats have lost one time since late September. That was to Buffalo a month ago. Bills ran for 168. So I was going to present to him, and you guys are elite football minds. Is that the best way to handle New England? Constantly running on the red, white, and blue?
Probably. They've been doing some really interesting stuff defensively, a lot of coverage. This guy's, their primary defensive coordinator, believe, has underwent treatment for cancer, and so they've had a guy, Zach Kuhr, kind of call plays for them all year, and he's done a really good job. But one of the things that they've done is play with a lot of two high safeties, so they have been susceptible a little bit to the run. The question is, Houston's offensive line, Woody Marks, is that a good enough unit to run on them?
What about Nick Chubb?
What
about Chick Nubb?
And I like Woody Marks. They acquired him in the draft. He's been
who doesn't?
Who doesn't like Woody Marks?
Honestly. I just learned more about R.J. Harvey this morning than I thought I ever needed to know in my life for our on-the-fly IHOPs.
No, but I do think running the football against the Patriots is the optimal situation. I will also say their cornerback, Christian Gonzalez, had a concussion last week. Believe he's going to be healthy for this game, but he's huge, and he's really, really good, so having him will be critical. But that game is, as much as it's like, the Patriots should probably be okay, the Texans defense is scary. It's really scary. So we'll see.
Alec's inclusion, 9 to noon on the Friday football feast, is courtesy of Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. They have a Martin Luther King Day sale, and you can learn more about that at stevesappliances.com. More on that when we get to our marathon segment, which is at 10 o'clock. And when we start getting into these playoff games, deep diving the divisional round, the Rams and Bears get the marathon. I mean, we have a division team in there. Was quite familiar with the Los Angeles Rams, who were favored by 3.5. Nordo referenced the predicted Chicago weather for the weekend for this game on Sunday night. -10 on the wind chill, 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. Matthew Stafford has played 6 games in his career when the temperature is 32 or below. He's thrown 15 touchdowns and just 3 interceptions while facing those conditions. I mean, he's HOF.
He's unbelievable. Yeah, Matthew Stafford is just so special. In the Panthers game, Carolina gave them everything they had, but it felt like Matthew Stafford was not going to be denied. And Puka, with the way Puka's playing and having Devontae Adams another week healthy, and they are not afraid to run the ball with Kyron and Blake Corum, that is a really tough out. If the Bears beat the Rams at home, I mean, that will be...
How do they not go to the Super Bowl?
Highly impressive. I mean, that would be beyond impressive in my mind.
Well, their run to go to the Super Bowl would then potentially mean they're beating the Rams after what they did to the Pack, and then to have to go to Seattle.
I mean, just the gauntlet.
I mean, you have to just tip your cap and say all respect to that. Caleb this, defense that, and Deshaun Wright. My goodness, if you guys run that gauntlet. That's the thing, though, is HOF MVP candidate Matt Stafford. The way they use Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, look out for that in a weather game like this to take some of the breeze or the chill or the freezer burn off of the old man under center. Even McVay figured out at some point, I got Cooper Kupp, and now I have Puka Nacua. I got this cool-ass passing attack. Yeah. I got Stafford there to run it. Oh, yeah, I still need to run the ball. I need to run the ball, and their success with Kyron Williams is undeniable. They're a top 7, 8-ish rushing attack, super efficient and even explosive at times. So that's why that lends credence in the idea of optimism that the Rams could handle business at Soldier Field.
Let's spend 5 minutes with Jermaine Wiggins. You can give him a call now. If he's not there this time, then we'll move on. Jermaine Wiggins, when I started calling Vikings games in 2002, he had just won a Super Bowl with the New England Patriots. It was Belichick and Brady's first Super Bowl victory, and I don't think it went to overtime. Maybe it did. But Jermaine Wiggins, if you look at some pictures of Jermaine, of the paunchy variety, that was part of the bit with Jermaine, is he wasn't super fast, he wasn't super tall, he didn't look super strong. He just made play after play. And in the Super Bowl, very, very late stages, Patriots are 14.5-point underdogs in the Super Bowl. And they win the game. And there was a massive, massive play late in the game, and Brady swung it left to Wiggins, and he's just swarmed. So he leaps over a ram to ramble his way to the first down. And he has a pretty strong Boston accent, very gregarious character. And he does radio with WEEI. Good tight end here. Good tight end for the New England Patriots.
He played for a lot of teams.
Yeah, Carolina.
Panthers, Colts, Jets, Jaguars practice squad, and the Florida Tuskers.
The Florida Tuskers, what's that?
We're about to ask him if he hops on.
Jermaine Wiggins, former tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, undoubtedly quite excited for the Patriots and Houston Texans this weekend. And for the truncated conversation, the man joins us now. Hey, Jermaine, welcome to the feast. It's Paul Allen. Got my main man, Alec Lewis, here, along with the producer, Nordo. How excited are you for this game this weekend? Houston and New England, my man.
Oh, man, we are extremely excited up here. When you think about where we've come from as an organization the past couple of years, we were struggling, and now we're back in the mix. And, we're trying to get back to what we used to be when we dominated the NFL. So we are extremely, extremely excited.
And when the Patriots, what's Boston like when the Patriots are good?
There's no better feeling. The city is a buzz. Everybody, it's like Patriot Nation. Like the fans are they're all for the team, the support, the love. It's just an amazing place because when you're part of when you're a fan of a team that's won 6 championships and was dominant for so many years, it's like you feel like you're king of the mountain. So when you're back at it and have the opportunity to get back to the mountaintop, the city is a buzz.
Alec covers the Vikings for the Athletic and theathletic.com. He's the co-host of the Friday Football Feast. And as we were awaiting you, I was trying to explain to him when you and Tommy and you and the Patriots beat Mike Martz with that first Patriots Super Bowl victory. The play that you made near the end of the game, that was one of the biggest plays of the game, and you had to leap over a ram. A, how vividly do you remember the play? And B, how do you properly describe it?
I feel like I remember every play that I had, and, I remember it vividly. I feel like I'm always dreaming about it. Like, I feel like I could still play. So when you have those opportunities, you have those moments, you just remember those things like it's yesterday. But then when I wake up and I put my feet to the ground, I figure out my body can't do that no more. But just being part of that whole thing was just, being a kid from Boston and being part of that, there's no feeling like it, And to me, I think about it all the time. And now, especially with the team being back to where they are and they're playing well and they're right back in the mix, it's always proud because I'm a diehard Pats fan, but I'm also a diehard Boston sports fan.
Jermaine, thanks for hopping on here. We appreciate it. What to you watch every play, you've watched every game, you've watched Drake May all year. What is the most impressive part to you of what he's done this year?
I would say his poise, because when you watch him play, like, he never gets too high. He never gets too low. Even when things are not going well, like, he never spirals out and kind of goes into a hole. He's just so even keel. And I would say his poise is one thing that really stands out for me when I watch this kid play. For him to be that young, and it doesn't look like he's ever nervous or the moment is too big for him, or it never seems like if it's not going well, he's going to go into the tank. I think that is the biggest thing that you see from him. And you guys get to see J.J. McCarthy, when things don't go right, sometimes those younger guys can spiral out of control. But his poise, to me, is just like no other that I've seen from a young player, especially a young quarterback.
Vikings fans, we apologize for J.J. McCarthy catching a stray out of nowhere. Caught it out of nowhere from Wig. Jermaine Wiggins, former Vikings and Patriots tight end, 9 to noon. The other quarterback in your game, C.J. Stroud, man, he fumbled 5 times last Monday and threw a pick. What chance does he have to make plays against your squad?
Well, you know what? The thing about him, other than his rookie year where he played really well, he's kind of been inconsistent these past couple of years. And now you lose your top target guy in Nico Collins.
Hey.
Defensively, if you watch that game, the Patriots really got after Justin Herbert. They brought some pressure. So for them, to me, I think this game is going to come down to C.J. Stroud and Drake May. Which offense can make more plays against, two teams that have really, really good defenses, and that's why I like the Patriots in this game. The thing with C.J. Stroud, he's just been so inconsistent, and so you're going to have some opportunities to be able to make some plays, whether it's, him holding on to the football long or him making bad decisions. So as a defense for the Patriots, you've got to be opportunistic and take advantage of those.
My man, thanks for the time on the 9 to noon show. Safe travels to you, and we'll catch up soon. If the Pats win, we'll call you next week, spend a little more time together, okay?
You got it, brother. Take care.
See ya. Jermaine Wiggins, former Vikings and Patriots tight end, to kick off the Friday Football Feast. It's Paul Allen, Alec Lewis, Nordo, and 5-2 Radio around the corner, courtesy of Grey Duck Spirits and Grey Duck Vodka. Chad Greenway will chat some football with 9 to noon. That's coming up very soon, courtesy of Timber Tech and timbertech.com. First, the cash thing, and good morning.
The Fan wants to give you a shot to win some bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. This morning's keyword, this hour's keyword, is happy. You'd be happy if you won some bonus bucks. And you can enter that keyword at KFAN.com. Keyword happy. Hey, Wild fans, it may not have been our night last night, but this is your season. You can experience the energy, the goals, the unforgettable moments at Grand Casino Arena. Get your tickets now. Wild.com/tickets to cheer on the Wild this season.
Let's cheer on Chad Greenway, one of the great defensive players in the history of Minnesota Vikings football. He joins most Friday football feasts, including this one today at FM 100.3 KFAN. We are in studio. Thank you, Grey Duck. Thank you, Grey Duck Spirits. What was it like? Now, not the outcome of the game when Walsh missed left and cost you a playoff bonus. What was it like after the 2015 season and that playoff game against the Seahawks? Wind chill minus 25, making it the coldest game in Minnesota Vikings history, and still ranks as like the third coldest game in NFL history. So, like, just overall, what was that like playing in that environment?
Pretty warm considering, you're in that South Dakota wind growing up, out there doing chores, feeding the cows and pigs. It was just another day at the office. No, it was, I hear so many stories about people that I was at that game. I was a part of that game. I was a part of that weather. I dealt with that. And it's fun. It creates a storyline. Like when you go into a game like that and you're going to deal with this weather, like to me, that was fun. Like that's how football is, in so many ways, like meant to be played. The pageantry of playing the cold and the weather, especially what we went through here in the 70s. And we hear all those stories. That was next level. And I remember.
I was like, really?
But it was still fun. And you're out there with just you can't wear sleeves because you play linebacker and you got to be the toughest dude. That'd be weak, soft, automatic L.
Right, of course.
And then you go.
I look like the Michelin man.
Oh, yeah. But I remember the first play of the game. I think it was the first play for the Seahawks that game. Mm-hmm. I had a run away from me. And I had that backside gap kind of control, backside A gap, and I had to sit, kind of shuffle down the line. And if it breaks out the front side, I go make the play over the top. Usually, Anthony makes that play. I'm not worried about it.
Cody Alexander's with us.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, right, I'm sitting that backside, and I forget the running back puts his foot in the ground, and comes right down the gap, and I eat it right in the mouth, just
in that weather,
just smack. And like your helmet just explodes.
Yeah, I'm sure that's good for you.
And it's fine. I mean, it shows in my character traits now what happened. But you can't describe pain like that in the cold weather.
I mean, I can't imagine.
But it was fun. It was a fun game. I mean, the best moment of that game, obviously we know how it ended. That part sucked. I mean, Teddy's drive, you get us down there, some huge plays. Teddy. The best moment still is Bud Grant walking out for captains. In the short sleeve polo at like 88 years old, negative 100.
Yep.
And the guy's just like, I was built for this. Superior, Wisconsin. Here we go.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Just a menace out there. And I'm thinking I'm walking out to go be the captain, right? And the crowd goes nuts.
Yep.
I look up at the big screen. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Bud's just like. Bud wanted to coach that. If Bud coaches that game, we win.
All right.
Let's be honest here.
There was one touchdown in the game.
3rd and 7 from the Vikings 8. Wilson shotgun. 3 receivers left. Luke Wilson stands up to the right. Fred Jackson to the right of Wilson, who takes the snap. He steps up, looking to run. Pumps, runs to the 5, angles to the right. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown, Russell Wilson. His first rushing touchdown of the year extends Seattle's lead to 13-0.
So Rams at Bears with that minus 10, and then the wins at 20-30. With that game, I mean, I wonder how the Rams are favored by 3.5. How do you think the weather's going to impact that game?
Yeah, I love the griminess of that thing. I mean, you're at Soldier Field outside, going to be windy and nasty. Those Bears fans are going to be just unhinged. I mean, just the most not the most diabolical fans. We got to talk about Philly and some others, but the Bears fans are just, unbelievable. My wife's from Chicago. I know how that crew operates over there. I think it's going to affect them more than they realize.
All of them?
I think the majority of the passing game, and again, the Rams can win multiple ways, but the majority of their passing game is in comfortable environments. Stafford's been in comfortable environments his whole career. He's long tenured. He's won everywhere. I'm not taking anything away from Stafford, obviously, but I just think that the weather plays a role in giving the Bears a nod. And I can see the Bears holding on here at home with that home field advantage and getting this W. And I think the Rams are potentially the best team in the league right now, but you still got to go tackle that behemoth out there in Chicago. And, I know we got them week 1, right, near the end, but the way they played in that fourth quarter, the way they closed that football game, man, was that impressive. And they're going to embrace that thing, man. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
We're going to go deep diving with a fantasy twist also on these divisional round games, beginning about 9:45 with the Niners at Seattle. Then after that, Rams at Bears. Then after that, Bills at Broncos, Texans at Pats about an hour and a half from now. But speaking of the 49ers, how about your former teammate Eric Hendricks at Philadelphia?
That was crazy.
I mean, he played 46 snaps late in the season after being on the practice squad. He started one game. He stole the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think his Instagram caption was, "I had fun yesterday." something so ridiculous. I mean, this guy enjoys football more than as much as anybody. I mean, more than most and as much as anybody. He just loves the game, loves to compete, loves being part of the team, has a smile on his face and a bounce in his step everywhere he goes. And for him to be able to step in that moment and make that play, and the play, to end the game essentially at the end, was just the best. And that little grin he gets. But I mean, one of the most instinctive linebackers to me that I've ever played with or watched play. Just always knew where the right spot to be, undersized, not going to overwhelm you with any other category, but his pass defense is elite and has been elite. And just his instincts are amazing. Love it. Love him. He's the best, and he'll be a Viking forever, so it doesn't matter.
What's that like coming off the bench in terms of, I mean, he's working on cars. He's living that next life. I mean, you've joked about it like, I can go out and give you 10. Mm-hmm. And at one point, PA hit the stat. I think he had played in 40-some total snaps, but then he's got to be there for an injury-ravaged defense, and he was there in the biggest of biggest moments, a month and a half removed from chilling out and being a spectator.
And Philly does the right thing right at the end of the game. They win at the guy who's old, who hadn't played a lot. He had a wonderful game, but we're gonna test that Tampa 2 back pedal, and we're gonna see what you can do. And he came through.
Hips are fluid, man alive, just clean flip, dive, makes a tip, just beautiful stuff.
That's muscle memory from Zimmer, right?
Like you
drilling into the basics 10, 12 years ago.
I mean, the guy walks into the building, right, and you look at him like, okay, like this guy can play, obviously, because he ain't the prototype. And all of a sudden he shows up and he's just always in the right spot. And where was he on that play? Just always in the right spot to make the play.
Every play.
And when you're good, you're good. Yeah. Like he woke up, when he was a baby, and was a good football player. Mm-hmm. The guy is instinctive. He understands the game. He's always knows how to be in the right spot. He just gets it. Knows for the ball, knows for the play. Luke Kuechly-esque of well studied, but always just knows where to be. That instinct that he's just born with.
The interesting thing to me is, and I haven't been here forever, but when I think about Kendricks.
It shows.
You're
not miserable enough.
Kendricks.
Not with that question he asked Kwesi about J.J. McCarthy and the subsequent response. Yeah. That was grizzled veteran.
No, but the
Kendricks. Been a long season.
He whispered it too, and it still worked.
Kendricks, Anthony Barr, Harrison, it feels like a bunch of that crew is just not the loudest. You just love football and kind of similar personality. I don't know if that makes sense. But
those are my babies right there. Yeah. Those are my guys.
Maybe you raised them well.
I did all the talking, so they didn't have to. Yeah, no. Those are the guys you mentioned right there that with especially CJ Ham retiring now, Harrison moving on potentially. I still think there's a chance there. But Adam Thielen is those guys were young pups coming in the organization, and to see Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks when they got drafted and got brought in, Audie Cole, throw that name in there. They
Mike Motti
reinvigorated me in my career because you're at year 8. You kind of getting
you've done it.
You've been around the block. You've seen a lot. You all of a sudden Zimmer comes in. All of a sudden Barr comes in. It's oh, this is fun, exciting, new young player. And then Kendricks comes in, gets a smile on his face, is always hopping around. It was a shot to my career to end that way, to play with those guys. It was just fun.
Brian Flores interviewed for the defensive coordinator job with Washington. I believe, has the Baltimore head coaching interview taken place?
Yeah, okay. That one's happened.
So we got so we have those on the horizon or completed. So I'm just going to lay it out like this, and you guys take it wherever you want. Brian Flores signs a contract with the Minnesota Vikings, interviewed for another defensive coordinating job with Washington, a team that he shut out. So I can understand why they're going to want to interview him. But why does he want to interview with them?
Well, I mean, to me, in this point of not having a contract and out there searching for these jobs, even a lateral, quote unquote, lateral position, not knowing the money, is because he's either doesn't want to be back here himself or they don't want him actually to be back here no matter what they're saying to us. And the reality is we don't know what they're saying in privacy.
That no matter what they're saying to us, that's a big statement you just made, because O'Connell was loud on the microphone the other day with we put something in front of him before training camp, put something in front of him after the season.
Very aggressive. We've been very aggressive.
But we want him back.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it's reciprocal, clearly, right? And I think that's the thing you're looking at is like, what's the reason? We won't know until we know. If somebody tells us, and we may never know because maybe they won't tell us. But if he moves on, I'm not going to be surprised at this point. I mean, I love him and his defense. I love the way they fly around. I love the concepts, and they carried this team this second half of the season. And I don't want that to happen because I don't want us to start back over again in that spot, because I think we have a chance to be good next year, and I want him involved. But to me, the head coaching thing is still a heavy question mark for several reasons. And I just don't see that happening. And if it's a lateral move, it's because somebody chose to make it that way.
I mean, the other aspect that I think is important to say is it's kind of like some players at the end of their contracts are offered extensions from teams. And the players sometimes are like, I just want to test the market, see what exists, so I'm going to become a free agent.
Wow.
And that's essentially what's happened here.
You never hear that with coaches.
Right? Yeah. No, you don't. It's a very I don't use the word unique, but it is a pretty unique situation. And so his contract is up to where he is a free agent. Now, I guess in one way you could almost hurt your leverage, because if you interview with other teams and nobody offers you, then you come back to the Vikings. If that's your only option, then you don't really hold many cards. So,
I think the interesting way to look at this, and if we see is the NFL lawsuit a detraction from these teams hiring? Where does he rank in these hot names that are out there? To me, he ranks higher than the majority of them. Like longer tenured, defensive coordinator, had a lot of success in multiple places, has head coaching experience. We all know how that went. And I think we could almost all agree that he should not have been removed from that position at that time. I mean, I think the majority of people in general think that way. So to me, he's ranked notably ahead of many of the names getting thrown around. So if he's not being hired in this cycle with 8 openings, whatever it is, it means that he may never be a head coach again. I mean, that's just the reality he may be looking at, we may be looking at. Because to me, from a name standpoint and what he's done, what he's done, there's something that we don't know, or there's something that they're just saying, you know what, he's on the list, and we ain't hiring anybody on the list.
I mean, the other aspect of that conversation is there are 8 jobs open right now, and the candidates in this cycle are nowhere near the level of candidates in previous cycls. So I
was trying to throw my name out there.
You'd get interviewed.
I think I'll take an interview.
Tennessee would come to your house.
I'm in. Wait, they would?
Probably. Amy Adams Strunk will be here in a few weeks.
The weather's way better down there than here.
Hey, Chad, thinking about the Vikings, if he was to leave, whether it is a defensive coordinator or if a head coaching job was secured, what does that mean in terms of the next steps for this defense? And I can't remember how many different defenses or, maybe just small deviations from a coaching standpoint from Chile. Of course, when Zimmer takes over, that's its own animal and pretty consistent, I'm sure, for the remainder of your career. But the idea of whatever we had built, and then despite new faces and such, people like yourself still with the team, what's that like grasping onto and finding a way with a new defense?
Yeah, I think I had one major change from the Tampa 2 system that Frazier and Tomlin brought in. Frazier took over to the system Zimmer brought in, which was wildly different and asked you to do different things. And there was some personnel shifting and changing that had to happen just to bring the right type of bodies and personnel in. So, I think B-Flow's defense has mimicked Zimmer in some ways, creative, if you think creatively about needing the right personnel and body type. And he was even probably bringing in more versatile type of players, the Van Ginkels, the Metellus, the guys that can play multiple positions and do a lot of different things. And I think you're going to want to hire from the B-Flow tree if you are asked to do that, because you have brought these players in that can do those things. And you kind of build your offense and schematic on that side of the ball around a defense that you can count on.
Yeah.
And to be aggressive and to take shots and to be in all those types of things. So I don't see a wholesale shift. I see somebody that they've fallen in love with from his tree that will make a lot of sense, who's probably already here.
Yeah, Durante Jones would be the obvious name. Durante's been the pass game coordinator working hand in hand with Flo. Durante's been around for a long time. He had experience with Zim. He had experience with Lou Anarumo, so he's got different ideas. He interviewed last year for multiple jobs. He's already interviewed this year. I mean, the absolute worst case scenario
is Durante would be
Flo leaving. Yeah, Durante leaving, then Flo leaving. Then you're at a spot where, I mean, that is worst case scenario. I don't expect that to happen, is what I would say. But there's no question other teams are going to be interested in Durante for good reason.
Yeah.
If Adam Schefter reported Monday that people should expect a new deal for Matt LaFleur and Green Bay, yet nothing to this point. Now, that's Monday, and here we are on a Friday. But Chad first, if you had a big say in that decision, would you bring him back?
I would bring him back. Yeah, 1,000%. I think the way he manages the organization, the way he's handled the quarterback situation, the position he's put his football team in, year after year after year. I think all he's going to ask for, in my opinion, in a fan base, from a player and personnel standpoint, is to have a leader who's going to constantly put you in the dogfight to have a chance to win the Super Bowl. And again, I know at the end of the day, like the Packer fans want Super Bowls and they want to be there and they want to win them. Same reason you look at the Steelers, same reason you look at the Ravens, and this is the expectation of his organization, which is a place, by the way, that we're trying to get to, where we're always in the battle. So to me, he's done that and done enough to offer at least one more shot at this over the next 3 to 5 years.
I'm with you completely. I think it would be I think he would become the number one candidate on the market, and if that's the case, it's kind of
means you have the right guy.
Right. It's kind of like when I watch a baseball game and one team is like, you're going to pull that pitcher. Thankfully, that helps us out. Like, it helps. If you feel like it helps the other team to do something, the other aspects of the league, then that I would go against that completely. So, LaFleur, these developed Jordan Love. The offense is really good. I would not do.
B-Flow has his number, so if we keep B-Flow and they hire him, I feel good about that.
Well, there's part of me, though, and LaFleur is a fantastic coach, but...
Good hair, too. Really good hair.
Incredible.
But it's kind of like whether it's a prospect you develop, you got to decide, is there a reasonable progression or development or evolution in what that ceiling is? Similarly, is there any aspect to this where... Is there a ceiling for what LaFleur can do with this particular operation? And everyone's going to say in front of a microphone, I mean, I remember... It was, a month before Zimmer was fired or at the end of the 2021 season. Everybody's like, oh, I love Zim. Yeah, I hope he's our coach next year. And then he's ousted and everyone moves on. KO rolls in, new culture and new bit. Similarly, everyone's totally love LaFleur. Couldn't imagine what it would be like to not have LaFleur in this building. Knowing when to pull the trigger and move on, if you have a solid grasp of, as good as LaFleur is, we're going to win 10, 11 games, have a chip chair and a chance, but can he get us over the hump? And you can look at decision-making in playoff games from a 4th and 8 years ago with Rodgers to how they've operated as the 7th seed the last few years in a row. I think a truly valid argument, regardless of the guy I don't know, and we're all fawning over Grant Udinsky videos now and what his future evolution is as a coach. But, like, moving on is scary into the unknown, but if you feel that this is a true ceiling for LaFleur, I think you got to do it.
I would, if I had access to this meeting, and like my opinion mattered, which it doesn't, but if it did, I simply would just, like, if I was one of the, the assistant to the president or something.
You're in the boardroom.
Yeah, I'm in the boardroom, exactly. And I would just want to know, Matt, when it ends, why is it always so catastrophic and unorganized? Mm-hmm. Every single time. I mean, you're calling this beautiful thing out at Santa Clara. We got Tucker open left flat to move the chains again. We're going to pull the upset. Then the quarterback goes to his will, throws across his body. Dre Greenlaw ends the season. Then he's bouncing around in the pocket the most recent game, pointing for people to go here, they go over there. And then it ended the way it just, when it ends, it's catastrophic and unorganized.
Yeah, I think, but to the point of if he's going to be the best candidate when he leaves, it means you have something good there. And are you just better served for another run and moving the pieces around him out and in? From a leadership standpoint, is he doing the right things in the organization to put you in that position to win all the time? And to me, he almost has to be if they're doing that actively. So, because there's another side of the football and special teams that play a role in that same catastrophic collapse that happened in Chicago, and who plays that role? And again, it's all under his watch, so he's part of that. But to me, you have a really good thing going. The hiring cycle, who's out there as candidates, that's also going to play a role here with who's going to be, inevitably if they make that decision. Because all of a sudden they say, you know what, we don't like anybody out there right now. These guys over here, he's gone, Harbaugh's gone, Tomlin, we don't know if we want that situation. Okay, well, you know what, this is the best situation out there. Let's keep him and move some pieces around him.
It'd be easier to me, too, if Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons were both healthy throughout the entire season, and then they got to the point at which they did and they lost that game.
Where's Tucker Kraft from?
Tucker Kraft, South Dakota. Yeah,
Let's go.
He's unbelievable.
But I do. He's just one of us. He's one of us. That's what we do.
I will say, I understand the Nordo argument of if we feel like we've been really good with this and we want to be great, so we're going to take a swing. Sometimes you have to take that risk. I don't expect them to do it. And I would keep Matt LaFleur because, again, if you let him go, he's probably the Atlanta Falcons coach in 12 seconds.
But there's also a situation that you mentioned that every team deals with injuries. So I don't care who it is. Look what the Niners are doing.
True.
Look what that guy's doing out there in the Niners with nobody left.
Right.
There's been many a coach fired before, good ones that couldn't overcome injury.
That's true.
And look at our team this year. Injuries completely ravaged. The only thing guaranteed in football is injury. So you have to deal with it. So to me, yes, that makes a lot of sense. And you lost some studs. But it is just your reality you got to deal with. And part of the coaching is having that next plan and an option when you lose player X that we got to win a different way. And if you want to read that playbook, there's several options out there right now. The Niners have a good volume going on how to win when you just got what you got.
Lastly, the farther we get away from coaches losing their jobs, specifically John Harbaugh, now that the steam is that he'll be with the New York Giants, I'm just shocked that John Harbaugh's not coaching the Ravens. And it's not like, they owe him that job forever because he won a Super Bowl. But he's so good at so many different things and so well respected by so many. Then Ian Rappaport came out with a report earlier in the week that there was some friction behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I put this on Twitter yesterday, and I strongly encourage people to listen to it. Former Georgia basketball coach Tom Crean, Coach Anthony Edwards for the Bulldogs. Well, his brother-in-law are the Harbaughs. John Harbaugh. They talked about Jack. He was on with Barrero yesterday. It was one of the best 30-minute interviews I think I've ever heard on KFAN. I mean, I'm not hyperbolic guy that way. Crean was unbelievable sharing about John without oversharing. He kept saying, I wish I could really go down the road here. And he didn't want to. He didn't want to disrespect anybody. He shot down that Rappaport report, really, really hard. It's just false. It's ridiculous. If you got 53 guys, man, and you find one or two that have a problem with you, well, that's probably going to be pretty easy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's the totality of the story.
Yeah.
And after listening to him and then looking back at what John's done and just knowing through Matt Burke and other people who he is, I'm shocked that they let him go now.
Yeah, I think when you look at how Harbaugh, and you can even throw Tomlin in here, how he's operated the majority of his career in Pittsburgh, is these are CEO type of coaches, guys that sit over the top of the culture and how we are as an organization, and we let others do their jobs, and we step in when needed, and we make decisions when needed. And these are elite football minds, elite people. If I remember right, John Harbaugh was a special teams coach and coordinator before he came in.
Yeah.
But he's a leader of men. And when you get that in that NFL locker room, it takes a certain type of voice to gather all egos and put them all under this umbrella of here's who we are and here's how we win.
Yeah.
And, Detroit just had that overhaul, right? A couple years ago when Campbell comes in, he was sort of the overseer, and all of a sudden now he's calling plays. You just see how that changes the dynamic of coaching and teams when all of a sudden that guy who is the curator of culture and all things Detroit Lions has to now shift because the people that are to his right and left, he can't trust anymore, or he doesn't trust anymore. But Harbaugh is the example when you think about how he's done it, how to be the CEO of a football team and be the best.
Yeah.
And yes, you have to, whatever happened. He won one. He's always in the battle. But these last two playoff exits or didn't make the playoffs because of the exit at the end of the season were tough. Yeah. And that had to play a part in how you get to the spot. But to me, the way he managed that from a coaching standpoint is the way to do it.
And to land the plane on Flores, just because you said something earlier, Alec, that I was thinking about Yeah, I don't believe he'll get a head coaching job either. Okay, for whatever the reason. So it's sometimes seeing the forest for the trees can be difficult when you're getting a lot of noise and a lot of social media steam and slings and arrows and things are hitting you from all over the place. But end of the equation, I mean, if it was the metaphorical, you have to be right on this thing with this $1 you're going to bet, you have to be right. Defensive coordinator and associate head coach here or defensive coordinator here. I would go that way. In fact, I feel pretty strongly about it. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's what I would go, but it's not overwhelming in terms of the percentage that I would be confident in placing that bet is what I would say. And I just think there's a lot to it. I've said this on the radio now the last few weeks that I've been on with you, and I did it at the feast. Brian Flores' personality is he's a strong-minded, direct, unafraid to say what he thinks type of guy. That is how he is. And sometimes that's for people and sometimes that's that's not for people. And there are times where the opinions really pay off. And then there are times where it's not the most optimal. So navigating that is one thing, but there is no denying he has been beyond integral in the wins over the last 3 years. I mean, he took a defense that was inept in 2022, and without a ton of improvement via the draft, they have been pretty incredible the last couple of years. So it's a conversation that I understand why it's a daily conversation on all of these shows, because it is that important for the short-term future, really, of this team.
You better start getting ready for Oriema. Okay. I mean, you see who's 7th in the country in Division I women's college basketball. Your Kentucky Wildcats at 17. Daughter plays next year, right?
Next year.
They're number 7 already?
Yeah, number 7. I mean, Oriema has UConn, shocker, 18-0.
Well, they're a problem. Well, I happen to watch a lot of UConn Husky basketball, and good Lord.
Madden's going to be a problem, too.
Yes, I hope so. All
right.
They still have FUD?
Oh, yeah. Yep, Fudd's still there.
Who's Fudd?
She's one of the guards at Connecticut. Yeah, really? Absolute stud.
Anything with Grey Duck this weekend, or we need to know?
No, nothing specific. But a lot of great retailers and partners out there. If you need something to take, it's a cheap buy. It's an inexpensive buy. You go take it to a friend. You deliver it there. You're going to have a little party, a little get together. Go grab some Grey Duck, support local. Why wouldn't you?
Beer. I like the beer.
Yeah, beer's excellent. Nice little lager. You know, get that in your system. See how things go that night.
I had a couple of those this week.
You're trying to get lucky. You're trying to celebrate. You're trying to. Hey, you know what? Just bring it to wherever you got to go.
Yeah,
it works.
You're fantastic. See you soon.
All right.
Chad Greenway at Chad Greenway with Grey Duck Vodka and Grey Duck Spirits. When 9 to noon continues, we're going to dive into those divisional games, and we will begin with the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. This is the Friday Football Feast.
Hey, Rubes, remember that teacher who made a difference? Now's your chance to say thanks with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher to win $5,000 for classroom supplies. This week's winner, by the way, is Janelle Shermers, who teaches at Rogers Elementary STEM Magnet School and always goes above and beyond for her students. You can enter now. Thank a teacher. You go to iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
At 7 o'clock tomorrow night, the San Francisco 49ers are at Seattle. Now, Seattle, the NFC's 1 seed. The Seahawks are 7-point favorites in said tilt. When they met 2 weeks ago in Santa Clara, Seattle's defense held the Niners to 173 total yards. That's the fewest in a regular season game in Kyle Shanahan's career as head coach of the 49ers. The 49ers are 7-0 in wild card and divisional games under next level Shanny. And then you get to Purdy, the fact that he's handled these moments.
7-0?
So, yeah, the Niners are 7-0 in the wild card and divisional round under Shanny.
That is crazy.
Purdy, Darnold with the oblique. San Francisco's pass rush is terrible right now. Darnold led the NFL with 20 gives. What do we make of this one, gentlemen?
The oblique thing is crazy.
Yeah.
Popped up yesterday I don't even know where the oblique is on the body. Never understood that injury. Happens in baseball all the time.
It's a great question.
Where is it?
I don't know.
In the back? To the side?
Feels like it's a distant cousin to the gluteus maximus.
I think it's to your side.
To the side?
Yeah. Side.
So that would probably make it difficult to contort your body to throw the football 40 yards down the field to JSN the way he does. And they said that Drew Lock, my guy from Mizzou, got first-team reps a little bit yesterday.
Whoa.
So the idea of Drew Lock playing in the divisional round game, great guy, really good guy, not as good of a quarterback. It gives me a little pause and hesitancy. But yeah, I hope Sam's healthy and can play because I want to see him on this stage. I really do, Nordo.
Yeah, I do too. And it feels weird to say that. I'm kind of rooting for Sam, at least as an individual who faced adversity, gets the chance to find that resurgent or redemptive season that he did last year. And then he goes out and he just hangs out with the number one operation in the NFC again this year. And in some ways, just surviving through that finale with the 1 seed on the line. The defense was the A topic in that game. I think they ran for 160 or 170 yards as well. So it's not as if Darnold had to carry it on his shoulders. In fact, that first red zone drive, I think it was the first possession of the game, Darnold basically just drew out the blueprint of what we saw at Ford Field a year ago.
Guy wide open in the flat. Throw it!
Yeah, so this time around, hopefully the oblique's fine. I think the defense shows up again, and now it just becomes how can Shanahan manage the game to keep it in that 1 or 2 possession. I mean, 13-3, as ugly as that finale went, you just need a couple of throws from Purdy to hit. You just need McCaffrey to run for more. I think, what was it, like 28, 29? It was an awful offensive performance. So then now we're talking about Tonjes versus Kittle. I get the injuries. How many can they sustain? This one is going to be an awesome game tomorrow. I can't wait. And I'm rooting for Sam to survive the oblique. And if they do lose this game, it's not because Sam turns it over 4 times as he's been a bit turnover prone in 2025.
I think Sam is pretty likable too. Like, I mean, I said, I've told this, but after the Vikings played the Seahawks late in the season,
yep,
and it was the shutout, and Max Brosmer threw it to Ernest Jones, and it was real bad. We saw the media. We were going from the locker room to the press conference, all the beat writers, and we saw Sam in the hallway. And it's kind of this thing of like, at the end of the season last year, I can speak for myself. I was real critical of how it ended. And so if I were Sam, I'd probably be like, screw these guys. I mean, screw this guy. He just ripped me, and it might have contributed. And Sam stood, he walked over to us. He shook all of our hands. He was real so there's a soft spot for me from a fortitude to how he handled everything. He's really not electric at the microphone, but he is definitely just a professional with how he goes about it. So hope he's healthy, hope he plays, but it's not easy for me to pick Seattle because Shanahan is that freaking good.
Well, the 7, if we were talking the spreads, this touchdown spread just feels preposterous to me. But with Sam, I wonder, because he strikes me as a guy that you can get along with him in the locker room, but he keeps things at arm's length outside of the locker room. And I wonder how much of that has to do with him just getting blitzkrieg when he was in New York, where you can come up to him, hey, it's nice to meet you, Sam. I cover you for XYZ publication. And he might be cordial, crack like a quarter smile and shake your hand. But in the end, he's like, ooh, that's the enemy right there.
Well,
we ain't about to be friends and texting and talking more than people know.
Daniel Jones was the same way. Like when he walked in the locker room, he was a pretty nice guy. And then it was like, we're going to do a scrum with Daniel Jones. And it was just like, it was everybody's
the one
tight.
in the field house?
I think in the field house. Yeah. And he did one in the locker room too. And it's like, man, this is tough. I mean, it's tough to crack this guy. And I just think that New York environment does that to these guys. But yeah, Sam, I mean, there was probably week 16 of that season, 2024. He walked in the locker room. I was standing there talking to like Van Ginkel or Cashman. He had a water bottle. He like squirted it on my feet. Or I'm like, what is going on? That's kind of a weird thing to do. But he had a little bit of jokiness in him. It just didn't show.
That's like baseball clubhouse prank stuff.
And it doesn't happen as much in football, but he was comfortable enough in that moment. And then obviously I probably ripped him too hard down the stretch.
From a fantasy standpoint, in honor of Paul as in Paul Charchian, or DFS for those who are in it. I think, McCaffrey, all of his numbers are going to be super high. I don't know who else to use on the Niners.
Yeah, that's who I put for the Niners.
From Seattle, and he didn't have great games against the 49ers this year. But maybe Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator for the Chickens, who was here with Kendricks, has found a way to find the fly in the ointment with A.J. Barner. Barner needed that time off. His numbers are not going to be as inflated as Jackson Smith and Jigba or Christian McCaffrey. So I kind of like, from a fantasy standpoint, A.J. Barner this weekend.
I'm glad you mentioned him. Every time I watch him play, I think he's better than the time before. He does everything too. He's a good blocker, and he can catch the ball at all three levels of the field. Really like A.J. Barner. That's a good pick. I don't trust the 49ers front defensively a ton. So whether it's Walker or Charbonnet, that's where my mind would go.
Yep. I picked Charbonnet myself.
But that's the thing. I don't know which guy do I pick.
Yeah.
Because sometimes Walker is like a jitterbug and he's electric. Other times Charbonnet's just downhill, takes the path of the run, and it's effective.
Well, No, I'm totally with you on that in terms of who to pick, but I think Charbonnet is the one that's dominant inside the 10 red zone area. He may have even in that game had like he may have scored that touchdown. I think it was a 25 yard reception, catch and run. And so how they use Charbonnet, if they're going to be explosive in this game on the ground, Kenneth Walker leading the charge. He had over 1,000 yards. But Charbonnet catching and finding his way into the end zone might be the bit for me. I think that was a rushing TD he had, in fact, against the Niners. So
it's blending in my head of the Charbonnet touchdown against the Vikings. I can barely, but that
but
one.
He had 12 of them in comparison to Walker's 5.
Sure.
So I just think the flow of that for me would lead to Charbonnet.
We will marathon the next segment with the LA Rams at the Chicago Bears. You're listening to the Friday Football Feed.